Good morning, guys. Today I'm going to be working on replacing the rear wheel bearing on a 2010 Mazda 5. My daughter came here from Texas, and when she got here, her back of her car was making a horrible noise. So I came out here and diagnosed it yesterday and had her go get a new part. I want to show you what's happening. Rear wheel. I've already got the wheel, the lug bolts loose a little bit, but you can hear that grinding noise, that wheel bearing shot. So I'm going to be working on replacing this rear wheel bearing, and hopefully I can help y'all figure out how to do this. I've done it before, so it's pretty easy, but I figured I'd do a video to show how to do it. So hope you enjoy. Next thing that needs to be done, you got to take these little caps out of the end of here, and there's a 7mm Allen wrench inside of there, but both of these have caps over them. So you pull those little rubber caps off, get you a 7mm, stick it in there and loosen them bolts, and then the caliper will come off. Actually no, on this, because we're not doing the brakes, I don't have to do it that way. I apologize. We can actually take out this bolt right here. It's a, feels like a 13mm. I'll find out for sure when I do the update after I take these bolts out. But you've got one here, and then you've got one here. Take both of those bolts out, and this entire bracket and the caliper and everything will come off, and then the rotor can come off. So I'll show you that when I get it. Okay, so these bolts are actually 14mm, and because of the way that these hoses are, the brake lines and the emergency brake cable are, you can't really get a socket in here because the brake line is in the way. So you're gonna have to use an open end wrench to get it. And again, these are 14mm, not 13mm. I was just feeling it with my fingers and thought that it was a 13, but it is a 14. So yeah, you're not going to be able to use a socket on there. You have to use an open end wrench or a combination wrench. I can pull the caliper off and the rotor off. The emergency brake is disengaged right now, but you can see I pulled the entire assembly off. You can pull the caliper off of the rotor. I just haven't done it yet, but sometimes it's compressed a little too tight and you can't get it to slide off the rotor, and you'll have to compress the brake pads a little bit to get it to come off. I'm going to get the rotor out of here, and then I'll show you the wheel bearing assembly and what needs to be done to replace it. So those are the 4 bolts that you need to take out. They are located on the back side of the spindle, so you can see that's where I came from. Bolts out that we're holding the hub on. The dust shield for the brakes is held in with the same bolts that hold the wheel bearing in. The wheel bearing is held in by some T50 Torx screws. They're kind of a bear to get out. You got to get a little creative. I had to, because I don't have an impact wrench out here in my driveway because I'm out in the country, I had to use a short socket and my hammer to kind of shock it loose, and I also used some penetrating oil. Once I broke them loose, they came right out. But on this car, they've been replaced before by me. This is the 3rd time that I'm replacing them. And just while I'm on this subject, this car has been an absolute nightmare as far as suspension goes and wheel bearings. I've replaced the front suspension on this car 4 times, I think, maybe 5 times, and I've replaced the rear suspension 3 times. I've replaced the wheel. This will be the 3rd set of wheel bearings on this thing. So other than that, it's been a good car, but the freaking suspension and the wheel bearings are just garbage. But this is your wheel bearing once you get it out. There is an ABS sensor built into it, a wheel speed sensor, I guess I should say. And then now you can definitely hear that thing's bad. So I'm going to pull this sensor out, put it in the new wheel bearing, throw the new wheel bearing on there, and button her all up. All right, guys. Well, I got it all back together. Everything went right back together, no issues. So it's basically just the reverse of removal. I haven't driven it yet, but it was pretty easy. I don't think there's anything special that I haven't already mentioned, but I'm gonna go test drive the car and make sure everything's working correctly. Still have to do the other side, but I'm gonna do the other side and then I'll go test drive the vehicle and see how everything is. But hope y'all enjoyed the video.